The pistol was still warm in Jack Harlan's hand when he realized the mess he'd just made. Two thugs lay sprawled in the Arizona dirt outside Nogales, their blood soaking into the sun-baked ground. The woman stared at him with bruised eyes, her 7-year-old daughter clutching her ragged dress. Jack had come for black market rifles to fence up in Phoenix, but now he was a killer again. The smugglers had laughed about dumping excess cargo, unwanted souls headed for the darkest corners of hell. But when the little girl sank her teeth into the man's arm as he yanked her mom toward the truck, something inside the ex-Army Ranger snapped. Now, Luis Ramirez and her daughter Sophia stood free, but Jack Harlan was a marked man. Hoofbeats thundered in the distance, maybe a sheriff's posse, or worse, the rest of the cartel crew. What does a guy sacrifice for a split-second choice? And when the badges come knocking, where do you hide when the world's closing in? Jack's spread was tucked in a valley amid scrubby hills, 50 miles from civilization. No prying eyes, no deputies, no drama until tonight. Luisa stayed silent on the grueling ride, perched stiffly behind him on the horse, arms locked around Sophia. Her dark eyes darted like a cornered coyote. At the cabin, she hopped down without his help. "You can bunk in the spare room," Jack grunted, swinging off the saddle. His voice was gravelly from too many quiet years. "Got fresh water, grub?" She eyed his rugged face, hunting for the hook. There was always a hook. "What do you want from us?" Jack yanked the saddle free, his motion steady, like before he dropped those goons. "Nothing you ain't willing to offer." But Luisa knew better than to buy a stranger's line, especially one who killed without blinking. That night, she jammed a chair under the doorknob and tucked a paring knife under her pillow. Sophia tossed in her sleep, murmuring in Spanish. Through the walls, Luisa heard Jack pacing the front room, the glug of whiskey from a bottle. By dawn, she decided, they'd bolt, steal his horse if needed, head south to her aunt in Sonora. But opening the door, Sophia was gone. Panic hit like a gut punch. Luisa bolted to the main room, feet slapping bare boards. Through the window, Jack by the pump, showing Sophia how to crank water. The girl's tiny hands gripped the handle. His were careful, steady. "Mama," Sophia beamed, spotting her. "Mr. Jack says I'm tough like my daddy was." Luisa's throat tightened. Sophia hadn't spoken of her father in ages, and pneumonia that stole him had been brutal, final. But here she was, grinning for the first time since crossing the border. Jack glanced up, locking eyes with Luisa across the yard. Not trust yet, but a spark to folks who'd lost it all, guarding scraps. "She's starving," he said plain, whipping up breakfast. Inside, the air smelled of strong coffee and sizzling bacon more than they'd eaten in days. Jack moved easily in the kitchen for a big guy, scarred hands clean as he plated eggs for Sophia. He didn't loom or fish for thanks. Luisa watched him pour coffee into 3 mugs black. No frills, the kind that kept you sharp when trouble brewed. "Those guys you wasted," she said softly while Sophia chowed down. "Moral, come hunting." "I know. Why'd you do it?" Jack stared into his mug. In the light, she saw silver in his brown hair, creases deep around hazel eyes that had witnessed hell. Some things are worth the fallout. His gaze met hers, and Luisa felt a twist in her gut, not heat yet, but kinship. The stare of someone who got those decisions back, but you make him anyway. Outside, a vulture wheeled high over the junipers, patient like the hunters who track them. For weeks dragged by before the fever gripped Sophia. It started with hacks, then chills that wouldn't quit. By day 2, her little frame burned hot. Scarlet fever, the scourge of dusty towns and lonely homesteads. Luis had seen it ravage her hometown in Mexico, claiming half her kin, including her husband. "We need meds," she whispered, dabbing a cool rag on Sophia's brow. "Penicillin from town." Jack loomed in the doorway, hat clutched. They both knew town meant Rish was wanted now, flyers with his mug. Jack Harlan, armed and deadly. Reward offered. "All right at sunup. They'll spot you." "Maybe." He settled his hat. But she'll die without it. Louisa grabbed his arm as he turned, his skin rough with old Burns war scars. She'd seen those hands calm a skittish mare, patch a fence, smooth Sophia's hair during fever dreams. Don't, she breathed. We'll figure something. Ain't no other way. Desperation clawed her throat. Over weeks, she'd warmed to him a way he split logs at dawn, humming old folk tunes. Wildflowers left on the table without fanfare. The respectful space he kept, never pushing. She'd started trusting riskier, wanting. If you go, you ain't coming back. Then what about us? His eyes shadowed. Slowly, he covered her hand with his scalloused, huge but tender. Take the horse, head south. Cash stashed in the shed enough for home. This is home. The words slipped out, shocking them both. But they rang true. In this rough shack with his haunted vet, she'd found safety, quite a chance for more. Louisa. His voice cracked. She stepped close, inhaling leather and pine on him, seeing his pulse jump. They'd circled this for weeks, the charged air in tight quarters, stolen looks. Stay, she whispered, tipping up to graze his lips. The kiss ignite draw, fueled by dread and ache, knowing dawn could end it all. Jack froze, then wrapped her in, drawing her against his solid heat. Breaking apart, breath ragged. I gotta go, he murmured into her hair. You know it. She did, just as she knew loving a fugitive in no man's land came steeply. That night, with Sophia's fever easing a touch, the girl dozing deeply, Louisa slipped to Jack's room. He sat on the bed, oiling his revolver by the lantern glow. You don't gotta, he started. I know. She shut the door. I want to. What followed was urgent, fierce to fear this was it. His hands worshipped her curves, mapping her waist, her breasts. She traced his scars, a roadmap of battles, his softness clashing with his rep. At dawn, she watched him gear up belt, hat, duster, hiding iron. If I ain't back by dusk, you will. She tugged the sheet up, hiding tears. You have to. He kissed her farewell at the door, gentle, laced with unspoken vows. Then gone, vanishing into the haze. Sophia stirred, calling for water. Life pushed on, even as your heart rode off with a ghost. Gunfire cracked at sunset sharp, echoes rolling over the flats like storm warnings. Louisa's blood iced. She clutched Sophia, peeking through the lone window at the road. Dust plumage riders hard charging, too many. Mama. Sophia's voice quivered. Hush, baby. Quiet. But it wasn't just lawmen cresting the risey, it was Jack, slumped over his mount, shirt bloody. Trailing. 4 badges with Winchesters, gaining. The door flew open. Jack staggered in, ashen from hurt and miles. They tail me from town. Bossy. He shoved the vial into her hands, fingers slick red. Hide. Take Sophia and hole up. I ain't leaving you, damn it. Louisa cupped his face, forcing eye contact. In his stare, the grim math of a soldier who'd bled too much, weighing lives. The storm cellar into the kitchen. What about you? She yanked off her old wedding band, the plain loop from her first life. Buying time. Before protests, she was at the door, tousling hair, hiking her skirt to flash skin enough to muddle men's heads, give her kin a shot. Her kin when had that happened. The lead deputy was mid-30s, Marshal Starr, steely gaze. Ma'am, huntin' Jack Harlan. Killer. Might be holding you hostage. Louisa thickened her accent, voice trembling. Sir, he was here, but split an hour back. Rode west toward the canyon. Check the place, boys. Her pulse hammered, but Sophia coughed faintly from below the floor, and a deputy paused. Kid's Eileen. Fever likely. The marshal eased. Need doc? Heard someone hit the pharmacy in town. My girl. Louisa whispered, real tears flowing. She was dying. That Harlan stole meds for her. Dunno why. Not full truth she didn't grasp why he'd gambled all for them, but gratitude swelled. He's probably dust by now, the marshal grunted. You spot him, holler to town. They poked around outside, but skipped inside. Why? suspected dame, shielding a thug who'd captured her. After they rode off, Louisa waited an hour before prying the floorboard. Jack climbed out first, bloody and weak. Sophia was pale but awake. "Why?" he rasped. "Why not wrap me?" Louisa eased him to a chair, slicing his shirt to probe the wound graze along his side. Messy but survivable. She'd patched worse, threading needle by light. "You put your neck out for my baby. For us. That makes you ours." His hand stilled hers. "Can't stick. They'll circle back, and next we fight. Together." His walls cracked, light seeped in. Affection, future, all the perils he'd buried. "Together," he echoed like a vow. That night, Sophia snoring safe and back, Jack's gash mending, Louisa curled in his arms home, like she'd forgotten it felt. 8 months on, the wanted sheets faded, tattered by wind and new outlaws. The frontier forgot quickly. Jack still favored that side, scarred a forever reminder, but his touch was soft, teaching Sophia letters, steadily helping Louisa with the veggie patch. They kept low away from settlements, suspicions. Evenings, Sophia tucked in, desert breeze whispering through pines. Louisa'd catch Jack scanning horizons the vets itch for threats. Worried, she'd ask. His hold tightened, not flight anymore. They'd claimed something worth defending. Not storybook, perfect love's gritty, forged in fire over fate. On her finger, a ring Jack whittled from Okraw, true as him. It gleamed in the sun, solid as their bond. In Arizona's wilds, between Badlands and Rebirth, it sufficed. Second shots for the bold. What would you risk for love, for family? Drop your thoughts in the comments, take a stand, share your view. Did Jack deserve redemption? Would you have turned him in? Let's hear it.